The Influence Tribe, episode number 30.
You got to understand it's a business. More than likely, you're not going to get rich in the first 6 months. Okay. You might make some money. It could take you a year, maybe two. It's the law of sowing and reaping. You've got to sow for a while, cultivate it and then harvest. And you can't get it out of order. Life doesn't work that way.
Hey, Influence Tribe. Now, you can take away every tool in my business, but the one thing I can't live without is my email list. Aweber is the #1 trusted autoresponder for over 120,000 small business, network, internet, and affiliate marketers. Now, right now, you have the opportunity to try out your first month for free. Just go to theinfluencetribe.net, click on the Aweber banner to get started today. Get your prospects to know, like, and trust you with the best autoresponder out there. Head on over to theinfluencetribe.net today and click on the banner to claim your first month for free.
If you want success in internet marketing, you just have to follow what real internet marketers do.
Now, what do I have to do to get you into this website today?
Right here, you're going to learn strategies, tips, and inspiring stories from up-and-coming internet marketers and current rock stars. Welcome to the Influence Tribe, presented by your hosts, Miguel Fuentes and Scott Lindstrom.
Nice, huh?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode. You are hanging with the Influence Tribe. Scott Lindstrom here. We're here on another Friday. If you're watching this live on our influencetribe.com website, hey, we want to welcome you. If you happen to be listening to this on the podcast, we want to go ahead and welcome you also. Be sure you head on over to iTunes, like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. Whew, folks, I got to tell you, I am in the house tonight with a master marketer, I would say, because this gentleman here comes from humble beginnings. I won't go ahead and steal all the thunder away from him, but I got to go ahead and give him the proper introduction that he deserves. Humble marketer, humble beginnings, great teacher. Those are 3 qualities that comes to mind when I hear about this gentleman. He started back in MLM back in 2000, and in 2008, he found MLSP. Got his own product line. He currently lives in Florida. He's living the lifestyle that we all would like to, that we dream about, that most people dream about. He's had his first 6-figure day, and he lives life now on his own terms. So before we bring him out, I just got to know, Mark, are you ready to become a massive influencer tonight?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. All right, so before we kick this things off, I want to turn this interview over to Miguel, who's going to tell you about who we are, the Influence Tribe, and how you can be a part of this awesome community. Miguel, take it away, sir.
All right. Thanks so much, Scott, for that introduction. Mark, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We are absolutely grateful to have you here this evening. And before we get started, before we get going, I have to remind everybody that's watching this on theinfluencetribe.com to make sure that you click the yellow button off to the side of the page. It says yes. Yes, I'm ready to get results. Yes, I'm ready to rock and roll with a leader who can help me cut back my learning curve and go further in my business. So make sure that you click that link off to the side. It's a big yellow button. You can't miss it. Grab it when you are ready. I really just want to bring Mark out. Mark, can you please come out and just share your story? I know it's a very large story, but where you kind of got started and how you were moving forward in your business.
Well, first off, guys, thanks for having me out. I know we've had this on the books for a couple months, and it's cool that it's finally here. So I appreciate you guys having me out, and it's always fun to get out and share the story. But, for me, my story is like many people. I was working a full-time job. I was actually a career air conditioning technician. I had, done really well in that. But I still just did not like working for somebody else. I mean, I hated having to ask for time off. For me, it was more of a, I wanted control of my own life type of thing. And while I, had all of the trappings, the house and all that stuff, it really was more of a burden to me than anything, because I just felt trapped in the job. So I, found network marketing. I went out there, did my best, and really came up against the same thing that most people come up against. And that was, I didn't have people to talk to. I didn't have enough people. And I hated prospecting people all the time. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. I eventually got pretty good at it just through practice, but I hated the fact that I could never go out to eat with my family and just enjoy the dang dinner, because in my mind, I'm trying to figure out how to prospect the waitress, and it's like, I can't even enjoy the moment because I'm, so wrapped up in, how to get this person's phone number so I can call them later. To me, it was like enough, and I remember it was about late 2008, mid 2008, I started to learn some things with online marketing and never really had a huge success there. And then I stumbled across MLSP in 2009, started to really learn more and more online strategies. In this whole, period of time, I'm going through just major financial turmoil. My whole life is crumbling around me. I ended up losing my house, got laid off from my job because of the downturn in the economy. It was just kind of a mess. I ended up moving to Chile for 4 years and living in Chile. And when I lived in Chile, that's where my business really took off. I just learned some, key things, key strategies online. And when those, really kicked in and I stuck with it, that's when things took off. I started generating leads like crazy and sales started coming in and signing people up. And that's in essence my story. And here I am today. I keep learning. I keep investing in myself and I learn more and more and more all the time. It's been a fun journey to where I'm at now.
That's awesome. I just want to say thank you because for those that don't know, Mark comes out and does regular wake-up calls on the My Lead System Pro wake-up call, which are Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm very much a fan of the calls that he does. He covers so many topics under the sun on those calls. So if you don't know, definitely check those out. Mark, what was your breakthrough strategy when you were coming up at that time? What strategy were you using? And do you recommend that people do that same strategy today?
At the time, I was kind of doing a combination of video marketing and blogging. And I was doing blogging. And at the time, it was a lot easier to rank in Google, like blog posts and stuff, because you could just like machine gun spam links all over the place. And it would, you would rank your blog posts like, crazy. But I was ranking videos and blog posts. And then Google came out with a big update and it just, my blog sank in the rankings. Sure enough, all my videos stuck. So even though my blog went down, I was still getting results with videos. I just put 100% focus on ranking videos, creating at some points. I remember one day creating 10 videos in one day. It took me about an hour and a half to just crank out 10 videos, and then start uploading them and doing my thing. And it was just going after it hard. And do I recommend people do video today? Absolutely. 100%. I mean, you should be using places like YouTube and Facebook. Right now the rage, and it will be the rage for a long time, is live video. Video is, you have the power in your pocket to start your own TV show. Really. I mean, everybody has it. So that's going to be the deal for a long time. I don't see it going away, but it all hinders on video. Do I absolutely recommend it today? Absolutely. 100%.
At that time, did you know that your breakthrough was coming?
No, I just knew that I was broke and I needed money like really bad. And I just went to work, it's kind of sad that we as humans sometimes have to get to like that super low point before we actually get off our butt and start doing it something. But if we were to like force ourselves to get into a corner, where we have no way out, we'll figure out how to make it work. It's pretty sad that it's pretty sad that I had to get to that point. And it's sad that I've seen other people get to that point too, where they don't really finally do something until they've got no other option. And then when you got no other option, it's like things take off. We're forced to make it happen. I was at that point. It was either that or I didn't know what to do because honestly, I was living in Chile and I could get a job, but jobs paid squat, man. I mean, it was bad. We're talking, very little money for, full-time work. And I was just like, I didn't know what else to do. I had no choice, but that's kind of what I moved down there with my wife for, because I wanted to put myself in that position and it worked. It was a big gamble, but it worked.
Did you have a vision at that time? And how were you developing it then? Or did you?
I think I knew where I wanted to be. I mean, I remember just thinking, dude, if I could just make $1,000 a month, I'd be so freaking happy. If I can make $2,000 a month, man, that would be like, I remember specifically telling my buddy Frank at the time, dude, if I just make $2,000 a month, I'm like, good, man. And now I'm like $2,000 a month. That's like so weak, and it's so thinking small, but sometimes like at a point in your life, that's big time, for me at that point, it was big time. But once you reach that goal, now it's like, if I don't have at least a $30,000 or $40,000 a month, I'm like, what happened? Why is it so low? And it's kind of weird that I'm saying that, but you just get to a point where your thinking has to grow. And you got to think bigger and bigger than where you were. So now I'm kind of like, I look at the numbers and I see and I know what I'm doing. So, it's kind of like if things don't reach a certain point, it's like, okay, what happened this month? Did we not do something we were supposed to do? It's just weird. It's kind of a weird place.
When you work on your mindset, you talk a lot on the morning wake-up calls. The mindset, the calls you do are some of my absolute favorites because I always get a kick in the pants when I listen in. When you're developing your mindset personally now, what do you think is most important for upcoming entrepreneurs to focus on in their mindset?
I think the biggest things really is expectation. Having the right expectation is very important because many people, I think expectation also has to be set by the person promoting. And that's a key because sometimes people sell stuff and they oversell it. I learned something very valuable early on from a mentor, and it was undersell and overdeliver. And most people oversell and underdeliver. So what happens is many people get in with a certain expectation, and when that expectation isn't met, they end up, quitting and they get upset or whatever. So I'm very big on setting the proper expectation. It also means that person has to have the right expectation in the sense of, you got to understand it's a business. More than likely, you're not going to get rich in the first 6 months. Okay. You might make some money. It could take you a year, maybe 2. I mean, I got in network marketing and I didn't have my first 6-figure. I got involved in 2000 and I didn't have my first 6-figure year until 2012. So I very easily could have quit throughout that time, but I just knew that, I was broke and I wasn't having success. And I knew one day I wouldn't be. I just had to stick with it long enough. So the biggest thing I would tell people is you have got to stick with it long enough. See, we live in a push button world, and that push button world is I want it now. I want to do it now. It's how fast and how quick can I get it? Now we have credit cards and it's like, hey, I can go buy this and I don't even have the money yet. I'm just going to go buy it. And so people, it's really messed with the mentality of people rather than just understanding that there's a law in life that it's the law of sowing and reaping. You've got to sow for a while, cultivate it and then harvest. And you can't get it out of order. Life doesn't work that way, but yet most people, they'll go to school for, 5-6 years, go $100,000 in debt. Hopefully they get a job. They'll stick with that, but it's like, come on, man, stick with the business. What if it took you $100,000 invested in your business? On that 6th year, you made $500,000.
Mark, what are the most common areas that you coach people on in their businesses when they're getting started? Like maybe if you have a new person come to you and they need some help, or even a semi-advanced marketer who's already having some success, what do you coach them on most frequently? What are the most common things that come up?
I have a number of coaching clients right now, and I really just look at where they're at. There's 2 aspects that I always tell people you've got to master in terms of online business. You got to master generating leads, and then you need to master how to communicate with them. And those 2 areas are really the biggest parts. So it's get the lead and convert the lead. Those are the real big things. But within that, there's many things too. Like in converting the leads, it's about building know, like, and trust. It's about building an audience. There's many things within that to do. So my goal is to look at where they're at. What are they doing? Like I have a couple coaching clients who are L5s in MLSP. I'm working with them. So my thing is to look at them and say, okay, what are they doing? They're being successful at it, but what's going to take them to that next level where they can truly leverage themselves more? Because there's people that are doing well, but they're spending a lot of time doing what they're doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But how do we leverage it more so that it can actually be scalable? Because you can reach a certain point in your business and you can stay stuck right there. Now it's, how do I get more done in less time? And that's where scalability comes in. And that's where I'm at right now. Like I'm really working hard on scalability, scaling, setting up processes and things to scale, because I want to be making, $100,000, $200,000, $300 a month on a regular basis, but I want to be off at the beach while it's happening, where I just look at my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Another $3,000 came in today, or another $4,000, that's my goal. That's ultimately what I'm getting to. And that's what I'm really pushing to right now. And that takes, a lot of putting things in place.
Talk to us a little bit about this idea of scalability. Maybe not everyone completely gets that. What is that about?
So scalability, like, okay, let's say that you've built your business to $5,000 a month, but you're prospecting and you're spending a lot of time, prospecting people. Now in network marketing, obviously the goal is to get other people doing what you're doing. And then that creates leverage where they're out doing it. You're making a cut off of what they do. And eventually who knows, at some point you decide you want to slow down, but it still keeps going. So depending on what your business model is, so scalability is if I'm generating, 100 leads a day through paid marketing and I'm signing people up into whatever program I'm promoting, or I'm selling courses or training or whatever, my thing is, okay, now how do I take that double, triple, and even quadruple that result and, in a short period of time? And that's why I'm a big fan now of paid marketing, because paid marketing is the ultimate in scalability. So if I'm spending $500 today to generate, 100 leads or 200 leads or something, and it's bringing me in $1,000 or $2,000 a day. So let me take a look and see, let me double what I'm spending in ads. And then, the goal is to double what's coming back. So you're scaling it up and going bigger and bigger and bigger is what it means.
How important has mentorship been in your business?
It's been everything. I got to a point, I got to 5 figures a month. So I got to $10,000 a month, basically just on raw determination. I got stuck at that. I was at about 10,000, 11,000. I was kind of hovering at that. And I was stuck at that for about a year. I just remember being kind of frustrated about it. And I'm like, what, I can't get beyond this point. I mean, and most people are like, they'd be really happy with that. And I was happy with it too, but it's like, you get to a point where it's like, okay, but I want to keep growing this thing. How do I get bigger? How do I go bigger? It was at that time that I ended up hiring Ray Higdon to coach me. So the first year that I coached with him, I took my business from about 10,000 a month to about 15 to 18,000 a month on a regular basis. And then my second year that I coached with him, I ended up taking my business between $20,000 and $30,000 a month on a regular basis. And then that second year was which really was last year in 2016. I had my best year yet. I mean, I made well over $500,000 last year. And this year I've got my sights set on $1 million. So my goal is to double what I did last year. And, we'll see.
When is it important for marketers to start building their own products?
I personally, it's kind of funny. I mean, you could actually do your own products very, very quickly if you wanted to, and you don't need like a membership site. I mean, kind of like Facebook groups are almost like the ultimate membership site. You can do some recordings if you're doing something that's succeeding. Take the recordings, put them in a Facebook group, and then people buy access to the Facebook group. And all the files are in there, the videos are in there, and you just let them do their thing. And but as far as when they should do it, I mean, if you have something that's succeeding and it's getting you results, create a little course on it, a mini course, sell it for $50. I'm not against it at all. I mean, I think that, you can really start doing that at any point. Here's the king. If you have something that's working, why not put it together and sell it? If you know that it's getting results, sell it. And why not?
What's your daily marketing plan like?
I don't really have one, man. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm pretty much I'm the worst when it comes to scheduling. I'm really bad. I just kind of know what I need to do, and I don't. So it's not like I have a set thing. Hey, I get up at 5:30. I do this. Typically, my typical day is I get up at around 6:30. I get up, get dressed, take my daughter to school, and then I come home and I go out and walk for about an hour. Do some exercise and come home. And then, I sit around and do nothing for about an hour. And then at around 10 o'clock, I finally start to go, well, I should probably start my day. And then that's when I start, sit down and finally do something. Maybe I'll do a blog post or work on a project or something like that. So it's not like I have super duper organizing skills. I don't. I just know that there's a couple things that I need to work on. And that's right now where I'm looking at where I can outsource further in my business. Because I have 2 people working for me right now.
We're going to get right back to our show. But first, just a quick important announcement.
Hey, what's going on, Influence Tribe? Do you want 2017 to be the game changer in your business? Then you need to attend this event called Live the Dream in Austin, Texas on August 11th through the 13th. This is an awesome 3-day event where you can learn from multiple 6- and 7-figure income earners. It's very simple. Just head on over to ltd.theinfluencetribe.net. That's ltd.theinfluencetribe.net.
Are you getting tons of value? Yeah! See, we told you. Be sure to head over to iTunes to like and subscribe. The Influence Tribe.
Hey, Mark, when you were in Chile and you were really cranking out the videos and working back then, did you have a DMO back then, or was it kind of like the same thing?
No, I had no DMO. It's kind of funny, man. Like, I'm really not the picture of to do that. I mean, like Ray Higdon, he's like a total machine, man. Like he's like the Terminator, when it comes to DMO. I'm just not, and that's probably doesn't help me much, but like I said, I kind of just know what I need to do, and I know the actions that produce results and money, so I think that's what I focus on the most. I have people that are doing stuff for me as well. So a lot of those things that I would normally have to be doing on my own, someone else is doing it for me. Like I have my business manager and he handles all my membership stuff. He handles all my sales stuff, support. I have another guy working for me that does a lot of stuff for me too, stuff that I don't want to do and I shouldn't be doing. And right now I'm looking at some other things that I'm looking at bringing on, some more people as well. So.
All right, Mark, in the beginning, we all struggle. What is something that you had to overcome early in your business to succeed?
I was really shy, actually. I used to be really, really shy. I was not one of those guys that was like, when I first started going, I was not one of those guys that was into prospecting. And so the thought of actually prospecting was like frightening to me. The last thing I wanted to do was go out and talk to people. And so that was something that I, had to kind of overcome. There's no doubt about it. I had to really get beyond some of that. I think once I started pushing myself to do it, because I wanted it really bad, and I think pushing myself through that is what helped me grow. So, if you'd have told me, a few years later, I'd be on stage speaking in front of, a lot of people, I would never have done that because that was like terrifying to me. I think the biggest thing that I had to overcome was just shyness and a lot of fear of caring about what other people thought. And now I could care less. I kind of have the attitude that people's opinions don't pay my bills. So until they do, I'm not going to care what people think. And that's just the way I think most people need to think, because you're not going to please everybody. Trust me. As nice of a guy as I think I am, and as humble as I try to be, and I don't let success go to my head, I still get people that are just the rude, crude, mean, and I just don't care. It used to bother me, but it doesn't bother me anymore. Sometimes I email people back just to be snarky, I had one guy write me one time and I wrote him back, and I was kind of, smart alecky back to him. And he's like, I'm going to spread this all over social media and I'm going to write negative reviews about you. I'm like, cool, go ahead. Nobody will believe you.
It is hard to resist sometimes. I know exactly
sometimes it is,
what you mean. You just get a troll every now and again and you just want to poke them.
I know. So I'm kind of like, I really avoid it as much as possible because I'm not going to argue. I mean, it's like, fine, just leave, go away. I actually had one guy about a month ago. He was on my email list and I, sending out content and email on a regular basis. And he got angry at me. He wrote me this nasty email and he actually called my phone and left me a voicemail and was swearing. Then he come over to my Facebook page and he's sending me messages over there. And I nicely replied back to him. I think his name was John or something. And I was like, so, hi, John. Thanks for writing me. I appreciate it. Just want to let you know that we've taken you off my list. And I also don't appreciate you calling and cussing me out, leaving nasty messages. I'd really appreciate it if you would never contact me again. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Have a great day. So sometimes, it's, I have to fight the urge to be, I have kind of a rebel in me, that rebel streak too, but it is what it is. And I think that's the biggest thing people have to overcome is just caring too much about what people think. And I think if you can get over that, you're going to go far.
Mark, what would you say is your proudest moment so far in your business?
I think when I had my first $10,000 month, that was like my proudest, because that to me, $10,000 a month is like the holy grail. When you're first starting, it's like, that's the holy grail. People like, man, if I can get 10,000 a month, I'll be living like a king, And I think that was probably the proudest when I'm like, wow, man, I finally did what I wanted to do for years, And now since then, I actually had $100,000 day, which, you guys know. I launched a product and I had a bunch of affiliates promoting and actually did $100,000 in sales in 24 hours. And that was really powerful, So that was exciting. That was definitely one of those moments, to be proud of. That launch itself ended up doing over 300,000. So that was a big deal. My best month really is about 300 and I don't know. I think it was like $330,000 or something like that. And so that was kind of a proud moment, I guess. I think it really just comes down when you're meeting the goals that you set out. I mean, really, that's the proud moments.
So the 10K, do you feel that was more relevant because of the point in your career?
Yeah, I mean, that was that point where I was like, oh my gosh, I actually made like killer money at this. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I really count that. I mean, like people like Rob Four, if you ask Rob Four, the very first dollar check, he got a check for $1 from MLSP and he never cashed it. He framed it, and put it up on the wall.
Mark, give us one or two of your favorite quotes.
This is one I always loved. And it was, if you do what you love and love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I've actually had people, because there's times where I'll work, 12, 14-hour days, and it doesn't faze me because I love what I do so much. And people are like, you work too much. I'm like, no, I don't, because I don't work. Like, I'm just doing what I love to do. And that's a disconnect some people can't make. They can't square that because it's like, you're spending 14 hours a day, but yet you love what you're doing. And so it's really not work. It's, hey man, I really love it. I love this, and when you love it, it's not stressful to you. It's not, so I think that one quote is definitely a big one for me. I think probably the most profound quote that really helped me many, many years ago was, and I don't even know who said it, but it was, successful people feel fear and do it anyway. And I always held on to that because there were many times where I did not want to do things. I just felt very fearful about it, but I knew that if I wanted to get to where I wanted to go, I had to go through that. That's helped me to grow, So those really are my two favorite quotes. Can
you give us one habit that's helped you become successful in your business?
Focusing on the things that matter and the things, not on the things that don't. So, it's like I was saying earlier. I mean, I try to just focus on the things I know need to get done that produce money. And that's where I put my focus. I mean, many people they got their focus on things that do not generate income. And ultimately, that's why I'm a fan of outsourcing and having other people do certain things that I don't want to do. And the more I can have people do the things that I don't want to do or I shouldn't be doing, it frees me up to do the things I'm good at. And I'm good at marketing. I'm good at, getting out there with people. And those are the things that produce the income. So
leaders or readers, as they say. So give us one or two of your books that you would recommend that you've read in the last 6 months.
There's one, I just reread The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, which is really good. I love that book. I think that book's really, really good. I think if more people understood compound effect and how it really works, there'd be more people successful. It's about doing little things, and those little things add up to big things. I talk about often about how people, if they do like a 90-day run in their business, it's doing the little things every day over a period of time that really make all the difference. And it's all consistency. Most people will do something consistently for about a week or two, and they'll never get the results because they got to keep going. So I think that's one of those books that I really love. Gosh, what's another one off the top of my head? I don't know, man. Honestly, like lately I've been so into my Bible. That's been like the main book I'm reading, to be honest with you. Most sold book in all of humankind. So you might want to check it out.
Small recommendation.
Yeah. So you might want to check that one out too.
Mark, what is one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever received as it's related to your business?
That's a good one. Stop thinking small. And I probably heard that over and over from Ray. Here's one of the best. Okay, this one really sticks out to me. So I originally signed up to do some coaching with Ray in a coaching program that he had called his Platinum Mastermind. That year was coming to an end, and I needed to decide, do I want to re-up? And he had another one called Diamond, and Diamond was about 4 times the investment. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to do that. That's big chunk of change, you know? So anyway, I wrote Ray, I was like, I just said something like regarding, you know, re-upping. And he said, this is just for me. It doesn't mean this applies to other people. But for me, he said, so you're going to still keep thinking small and stick with platinum, or are you going to go to diamond? And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going diamond. And I was very uncomfortable at that point. But what I did is it pushed me to say, okay, well, I'm going to do it. And the investment was big in myself, but that investment alone what allowed me in 2016 to do over $500,000 in 2016. And I honestly, man, the majority of that was earned in like the first 8 months of the year. And honestly, like the last couple months of 2016, I didn't do much at all. I just kind of like, you know what, man, I've been working my tail off. Let's take some time, you know? So that's probably the best advice I ever got. You know, stop thinking small. The biggest problem is most people try to stick where they're comfortable. And that's like the worst thing you can ever do. Like if you really want to get out there and do something, you got to consciously put yourself in a compromised position, an uncomfortable position to really grow. I have a mentor now. I mean, right now I'm working with somebody different, but it's something else that I needed. You know, I needed some advice in some other areas. So I'll never be without a coach, you know, for me personally. I'll always have that.
That's awesome. I love that bit of advice. It is so true. It is, if you're not uncomfortable, it's just not working.
You have to be, man. Like you got to get uncomfortable. Like if you're like, oh man, I don't know if I should do this. Like, I don't know if I can do it. That's when you need to go, all right, I'm just going to do it. Like force yourself to do it. You know, force yourself in a very uncomfortable position. It forces you to perform. Like it gets the juices cranking in the head. And like, you know, you're thinking about, okay, how can I make this happen? And that's where all the growth comes.
Mark, can you share with us a moment in your business that you were struggling and then you had that aha moment? It was like that breakthrough and the light bulb went off.
Probably early on when like I said, I was in that position where I was really broke. And for me, my best lead day at that time was like 3 to 5 leads. I mean, it wasn't like I was getting a lot of leads, but then when I was forced to go out and, you know, take action, I think when the big aha moments came, when I really believed that I could really do this, was when I, you know, had my first 10 leads a day. And then the next day it was 14. And then the day after that, it was, you know, 17. And it just incrementally started going. And next thing I knew, I was getting 50, 70, 80 leads a day. That's when my belief level just shot through the roof because I saw signups coming in. I saw people signing up. I saw people buying stuff. And that's when it was very clear to me that, hey, man, that was my biggest breakthrough. Like I can think back on that for sure.
Before we go into the final question, I just want to turn this over to Miguel. Miguel, do you have any final thoughts?
Folks, I just want to say, Mark, I'm so grateful. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. Yeah. And I want to remind everybody that's either listening on the podcast or watching us live on theinfluencetribe.com, grab that yellow button. Let's challenge you. Let's challenge you to grow into the person that you know you need to be. That's all the only thing that I can sum up right there. Go click that yellow button. Go take your test drive and let's rock and roll. Scott, go ahead, buddy.
All right. Mark, I got $1 million question for you. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. You've lost all your income, but you have all the knowledge you currently possess. If you had to start all over again, what would you do in your business to start getting immediate results?
Videos. I mean, that would be like the biggest thing I could do is just do videos like crazy because that's what I did before. I wouldn't change it because it's the number one way for people to see your face, get to know you, like you, trust you. I just know that if people will do it long enough, like even over 30 days, you'll see a drastic change in just a 30-day period. But the funny thing is that even my thing before was like, even when I wasn't like doing well, I was doing videos, but I wasn't doing enough of them and I wasn't doing it consistently enough that I would, you know, see the results of it over, you know, a period of time. I would do like a week's worth and then I would stop, you know, and then I'd maybe do some more and I'd stop. And I never gave it that opportunity to really kick in. But I would without a doubt do videos. It's the best, fastest way. And I would be prospecting like crazy. I mean, I'd be talking to everybody and anybody I possibly could. That's ultimately what I would do. Sometimes you just got to get down and hustle. Thankfully, I'm not at a point in my business right now where I've got to like hustle hard, you know, and I'm grateful for that because I've built my own brand. I've done all that. But there is a point when you're really getting things going. Like if you want to get the ball rolling, you got to really hustle, man, and get in there and go to work. People tell me all the time, well, I want it really, really bad. I want it bad. If the actions don't match up with the rhetoric, then That's all it is. It's just hot air, it's like, I'm willing to do what it takes, but I won't do that. Oh, okay. So you're not really willing to do what it takes, So it's really just a matter of being totally bluntly honest. I mean, if you want something bad enough, you'll do whatever it takes. And here's the best way I can describe it. For all the single guys out there, just imagine the most beautiful woman in the world, and she wants to go out on a date with you. Okay, you're a single guy, and you're just like the most beautiful woman in the world. Tell me you will not move heaven and earth to clear your schedule to make sure you go out with that girl. You know what I mean? And that is literally, the type of mindset. Like, if you want something bad enough, you'll clear your schedule. You'll do whatever it takes. You don't care if you got to stay up till 4 a.m. You'll make it happen. And it's that same type of mentality as with a single guy, going out with a beautiful woman on a date or something. It's like, you will make it happen. You don't care. I've been married for 14 years now. So that was back in the day, but it's not me anymore.
Mark, do you have any final parting words of wisdom or anything that you can give to our audience, and how can they get in contact with you? What's the best way?
I think my final words would be just, figure out what you want and go get it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody owes you anything. You have an opportunity to get what you want and go get what you want, but nobody's going to hand it to you. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have to fight for it, but in the end, it's worth it. I'm convinced God set up life like that so that we didn't become a bunch of spoiled brats. If we want something bad enough, you got to go get it. Go get it. And then when you get there with the work that you put into it, you're really going to truly be able to enjoy it and be grateful for it. Because, when you've got nothing and you go out and really put the work in and then you have something, you're just thankful that you have it. That's my biggest point of advice. As far as where to contact me, my blog, markharbert.com, it's always the best place.
Folks, you are a product of the 5 closest people that you hang around with. And tonight you've been hanging out with Mark Harbert. I want to thank you, Mark, for coming on tonight. You are definitely a massive influencer. God bless you, and good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us today at the Influence Tribe. All right, here's what you got to do. Run, don't walk. Over to theinfluencetribe.net for recaps of every show, training, and helpful resources. Make no mistake, your internet marketing success is waiting for you. Head to the website and prepare yourself to become a massive influencer.